Hello Joshers, and welcome to... Today we're going to be talking about Robert Lee Yates, the Spokane Serial Killer. Robert Lee Yates was born on May 27th, 1952 in Oak Harbor, Washington. He was born into a middle-class family of Seventh-day Adventists with a dark secret, and that's that before Robert was born, his grandmother actually axed his grandfather to death. In 1970, Robert graduated from high school in Oak Harbor and then moved to Walla Walla for work. He got work as a corrections officer at, funny enough, the prison where he actually resides to this day. It was in Walla Walla that he met Linda, his soon-to-be wife. He had married Linda, and that was in 1976. In 1977, he enlisted in the Army and became a civilian transport pilot. Then in 1976, he left active duty, and even though his term wasn't up, they were looking at cutting a lot of people at that time, so he retained all of his full retirement benefits, even though he still had some time left to serve. He then moved his family over to Spokane, Washington. And then in 1997 to 2000, he actually enlisted in the National Guard. He won medals. He had served in the military for a combined total of 21 and a half years. But his time in the military came to an end when he was arrested on April 18th, 2000. It turned out, from 1975 to 1998, Yates was actively a serial killer, better known as the Spokane Serial Killer. There are 11 confirmed cases involving Yates in Spokane alone, and then 2 in Walla Walla and 1 over in Bellingham. There are other suspected murders, but none that have been confirmed, but he is locked up as a result of those. What he would do is he would pick up, in Spokane, he would pick up prostitutes over on Sprague. Right here! He actually had one, a lot of the time they would ask him, "Are you the serial killer?" And he would say no. At one point, the police were getting pretty close, and they asked him to commit to a blood test, and he refused, saying that was too much for a family man. The part that bugs me about that is, like, so they just dropped it when he said that? Is that all you have to say? Like, no, I'm a family man. I couldn't do it. Oh, okay, fair enough. Originally, when he was tried, he was committed to life. That later got changed. However, his total years in prison that he's required to serve is like 408. So he might not die, but he will eventually. Like a lot of serial killers, he would do drugs with his victims and have sex with them, obviously, especially if they're prostitutes, and then kill them, dumping their bodies in rural areas. All of his victims died from a gunshot wound to the head. That's why some of the deaths that they've thought he may have been involved with, just because they don't match his MO and they can't confirm it, they've gone unsolved. Melody Murfin, he actually buried outside of his bedroom window while his wife was asleep inside, and they had no clue. There was another point where there was a blood stain in the vehicle, and his daughter, you can watch interviews with her online. You can find them pretty easy, and she talks about it and how it had like a weird smell, and they never really were able to get it out of the car. It's pretty scary. Pretty scary to think that it could be like your dad. It could be your dad. He comes home, long day, goes straight to bed. Not only was he sleeping with prostitutes, he was also doing drugs with them, murdering them, and then coming home and being a family man. Funny enough, before 2000, in 1998, one of Yates's victims actually escaped. Her name was Christine Smith, and that's when he was approached by the police, to which he explained that it was too much of a request for a family man. Yates' murder spree actually began with a couple, not just a woman. so outside of his regular MO. His first two confirmed victims in 1975 are Patrick Allen Oliver and Susan Patricia Savage. Then in 1988, he had one victim, Stacy Elizabeth Hahn, on December 28th. And then in 1996, on June 14th, he also only had one victim, Shannon Renee Zielinski. And it was then in 1997 that he really took off. Heather Marie Hernandez and Jennifer Ann Joseph, Sean Johnson, Sean Ann McLennan, Lori Page Wilson, Sunny Gale Oster, Linda Marie Mabin, Melody Ann Murfin, Michelle Joan Durning, and Connie LaFontaine Ellis on October 13th, 1998. He is now serving his time in prison, and I say good riddance to the guy. Glad to have him off the streets. Unfortunately, Yates is not the only serial killer native to the Pacific Northwest. There's actually quite a few of them, and I'm going to be doing more episodes of A Stag Story, Serial Killer Edition, featuring some of those other faces like Gary Ridgway, the Hillside Strangler, and yeah, Ted Bundy. Why dress like you when you can wear me?
Thank you.